Okay, so our next exercise is building this hallway table. Now, if you look inside, the guts for the drawers are not being built. If we were really going to model this and send it to a woodworker, we'd have to build the drawers with the slides and everything. But what we're going to do is everything else except for that. And when we're done, we'll have something that looks like this. All right. So let me save this as a hallway table. And let's start from scratch. So I'm going to go to File, New, delete our little feller here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the top of the table. We're going to grab the rectangle tool. We're going to pull out a rectangle that is 14 inches by 48 inches. 14 inches, comma, by 48 inches. There we go. Now we'll zoom in. And we're going to push pull this up 1 inch. And then we're going to chamfer the sides of this with the pencil tool. I'm just going to cut a little chunk off like so. I want it to be something like that. And then I want to see the bottom of the table. I'm going to grab my selection tool, select the face, grab my follow me tool, click on that, and there's our chamfer. Now we're going to triple click to select this, right click, make it a group. So when do you make something a group? When you want to isolate it? When do you want to make something a components? When you want to edit it. So I can move this, but if I wanted to edit it, I have to double click and open it. So I want to make sure that it's closed. And what we're going to do now is we're going to draw guides on all 4 sides. We're going to grab our tape measure tool. We're going to draw guides. We're going to draw guides 1 inch in on each side. On all 4 sides, 1 inch in. And keep going. And one more. Okay, so we've got an inch guide around all 4 legs of the table. Now we're going to grab a rectangle tool and we're going to draw a table leg, which is 1 inch by 2 inches. So we'll start to drag, type in 1 inch, comma, 2 inches, enter. Oh, I want that to go the other direction. So I'm going to undo that and let's go 2 inch by 1 inch, 2 inch, comma, by 1 inch, comma, something like that. Now I'm going to double click, select this all, make it into a component, call it table leg, click create. Then I'm going to copy that architecture and grab my move tool, hold down the control key, grab it from the corner and drag it and snap it to the other side. Then I'm going to double click and open it and push pull my table leg down and make it 38 inches. There we go. Something like that. Now I'm going to grab this piece right here and I'm going to pull this inwards like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, we're going to look underneath the table and I'm going to set another set of guides here. I'm going to grab my guide tool, click here, and I'm going to set a guide right there, and then set a guide from there about 2 inches from there. Well, let's make it 1 inch. Okay, and that's going to be the underskirt of the table. So now I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and I can click from here, drag all the way across, click from here. And then I'm going to push pull this down 6 inches. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to triple click, select all that, right click, make it a component, call it side skirt 1, click create. Now I'm going to take all of this architecture and move it to the other side of the table. So I'm going to select one table leg, hold down the shift key, select the other components, grab my move tool, click on the corner, hold down the control key, and drag it over to the other side of the table. And I want to get it to right there. Now, it's facing the same direction, and we want it to face the other direction. So there's 2 ways I can do this. One is I can grab my scale tool, and I can push it through itself. If I push all the way through until it's a -1, then it is flipped completely. The other way to do it is to select out our architecture, right click, and choose flip along. And let's see, flip along the green direction, right click, flip along the red direction, and that did it. So it's either one of those methods. Okay, so we've got that. That's looking pretty good. Now we're going to do the skirt for the front. I'm going to grab my tape measure tool, and I want to draw a guide that's going to come from there to there, like that. That's what I want. And so now I've got something to use to draw my rectangle. I've got to see the ends here. Grab my rectangle tool, click, drag all the way across. Click like that, and then push this down 6 inches. Grab, I can type in 6 inches. Boom, okay. So now I'm going to triple click to select this, right click, make it a component, and call it table. Let's call it front skirt. And click create. And now I'm going to double click and open that. And I'm going to create a little curve on it. So I'm going to grab my tape measure tool, click and drag up 1 inch. Then I'm going to grab my 2-point arc tool, click, go all the way over to the other side, click, and pull that up for a 2-point arc. Now I'm going to grab my push-pull tool and just snap that away. And then I'm going to copy it to the other side of the table. So I'm going to close it, and then I can select it. And then I can grab my move tool, hold down the control key, click, drag it over, and place it. Let's see, is that where I put? Oh, the other, I had it a little bit further in this way, didn't I? More like that. Okay, there we go. So now we're almost done with our table. Yay! Okay, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. So we'd have to build the slides and the drawers as well, but let's just continue. So here's the front. Now what I want to do is draw a drawer, a rectangle tool, and I'm going to click and drag out a rectangle and make it 3 inches by 15 inches, 3 inches, comma by 15 inches. There we go, something like that. And then I'm going to triple click, make this into a component, call it drawer. Click create. Now I'm going to double click and open that. Push pull it into space, make it 1 inch. And I'm going to rotate it so I'm looking at it from the side. I'm going to chamfer that. Click, pinch it in like so. And then I'm going to select the face and grab that piece and pinch it in like so. And then I'll get out. And I want to set a guide. Let's set a guide 1 inch away from the side here. I'm going to set a guide an inch away from here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this architecture, grab my move tool, and I'm going to move it until it's right. Oops. Let's rotate it a little bit. I'm going to grab it and move it right to there. Then I'm going to hold in the control key and make a copy and place it right. It should snap to, there we go. Perfect alignment there. Okay. I'm going to make one more adjustment. I'm going to go to this drawer, double click and open it, and I'm going to draw a little drawer pull for it. I'm going to grab my circle tool, and I'm going to look for this two ways. I'm going to find a midpoint this way, come across this way. Then I'm going to look for the midpoint here. And I want to find midpoint from both angles. There we go, like that. Click, and then drag out. And then I'll just pull that out. A little bit like that. And then click away. There's our table. And then we can go to view and choose, no, let's go to edit and delete guides. And we can select the whole thing and group it. And then we can move it so that it is, well, I don't want to copy it, I just want to move it. There we go, so that it is sitting on the ground. And there's our table. And then we can go back, get our wood, and paint it. And that is our table exercise.